We're going to make some really nice meatballs. Now to start with, we're going to actually start making the meatballs themselves. So what I've got is some bread there, just normal slice of bread. There's actually about 4 or 5 slices in there, depending, you know, how thick your bread is. So what we want to do is just to put some milk in there, because what you want to do is try and get the bread to soak up the milk. So fair bit in there, and we'll just leave that soaking now. While I'm waiting for the bread to soak, I'm going to get on and start doing the meaty bit with the mince. So what I've got is I've got some beef mince here. It's about 500 grams, so half a kilo. Quite a lot of parsley, a couple of cloves of garlic. Now chop your garlic really quite nice and fine, and then we've just got 1 egg. And eventually, when the bread in the milk is sort of sucked all up the milk, we're going to add that in as well, and a little bit of salt and pepper. So we'll get on with that. Tip all this into a bowl. I've got obviously the garlic and the parsley there, so we'll put all that in like so. And then what we're going to do is crack an egg, seasoning, salt and pepper in there. Okay, plenty of that. Obviously do that to taste. And we're going to mix this by hand and just try and mix all the flavours together and get it nice. There we go, just grab it like so and try and mix up the egg with parsley. I mean, garlic goes really nice in this dish, so that's why I've added that into the meatballs, and I think you'll find that it should hopefully taste nice at the end. Okay, I've got the bread here. Just going to mix this in. Try and leave, when you lift it out, if there's any milk left, just try and leave it behind. You don't want it too runny in there, so just give it a gentle squeeze. That's it. It leaves it all behind. That's it. And now we can just mix all that together. We're going to make the meatballs now. So scoop a bit out, pop it in your hand there, and then what I'd say, just put a little bit of flour around it. Otherwise, it kind of gets a bit sticky. And then if you can just roll it round, give it a bit of a squash until you've made a nice meatball. As I say, if it gets sticky, always add a little bit of flour. They're quite soft and tender, so you've got to be careful with them. And then just pop them on a plate with a little bit of flour waiting, and we're going to fry those up. Okay, I finished making the meatballs, and what I'm going to do is just put those aside now and get on with doing the sauce. And what I've done is just put a bit of olive oil in there. Going to make the sauce here. So first of all, just pop a bit of garlic in. I'm just using half an onion there, so we'll just pop some of that in. Just cook that for about a minute or so, and then we'll just add in the tomato. I'm going to add 2 tins of tomato. I've got some chopped tomatoes, so literally just pour these in like so. 1, and I'm going to use, let's say, 2 of those. And then we'll just add a little bit of salt and pepper. Give that a stir around. Really, you want to cook this sauce for quite a long time if you can. I mean, I'd say ideally at least half an hour to sort of make it nice. Longer if you can. I mean, sometimes people really do cook the sauce for an hour or so, but you know, it's obviously up to you. So a bit of pepper, a bit of salt, give that a quick stir, and then we're going to leave that for a little while. When I come back, I will put a little bit of sugar in here, so I'm going to cook it for about 10 minutes and then add a little bit of sugar, because you find at the moment it's probably a little bit bitter, but we'll come back and taste it in a minute. I've been cooking the sauce for about 10 minutes. You can see it's starting to look a bit more saucy than it was. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just try a little taste of it, because it's all worth doing that before you start adding things into it, like sugar. Obviously with this sort of dish, personally I like it a little bit sweeter, so I am going to add some sugar in. Otherwise I find it a little bit sort of bitter, but you can do that to taste. So add a little bit. You can always add a little bit more later. I've got the sauce cooking in the background there. Got another pan. What I'm going to do is just pop a little bit of garlic, finely chopped up. It's worth keeping a little bit of flour at hand, and just dust your hands, because next thing I'm going to do is pick up the meatballs, and what you find is sometimes they get a little bit sticky, so if you can just put a little bit of flour on, it means you can kind of roll them around your hand just to do the final shape before you pop them in. So pop those in there. What you want to do is cook these on a fairly high heat, because all we want to do really is just very slightly brown them off to sort of, you know, seal the outside, and then we're going to put them straight into the tomato sauce we've got cooking in the background. I'm going to turn these over now. Kind of keep my hands out of the way of the camera so you can see what's going on. Just flip all those over. So what I'm going to do now is just bring the sauce into view, and we're going to transfer the meatballs straight into the sauce. Before I transfer those, I'm just going to give a quick taste, see how it is. That's good for me. Obviously taste it first, because then you're putting the meatballs straight into a really nice sauce. So it's quite important to do that if you can. Just going to pick up the meatballs. Whoops. Pop those in there. Okay, I've got the meatballs there. I'm just going to turn them over. Very carefully do this. You don't want them sort of breaking up. Just turn those all the way around. And what you can do is you can always baste them a little bit on top as well. I mean, at the end of the day, we just want to add as many flavours as possible to this. Oh, that's looking good. Got the meatballs all nicely done. I mean, what I would say is the meatballs in the sauce probably for about 10 minutes. The sauce in total takes about half an hour, so you want to add the meatballs about 20 minutes way through. Now what we're going to do is just give it a bit of colour. Just add a little bit of parsley there. Makes it look good. That's half the thing, if you make it look good. And then what we're going to do is just serve it up. They look lovely to me. Edible anyway. Okay, before I serve it up, I'm going to be a bit sneaky here and just try a little bit. See what it's like. So we've got the sauce there. It's all sort of on there. Just going to try it a little bit. It's going to be hot though. That's really good. The meatballs are quite nice and soft, flavoursome, delicious. Okay, I've served mine up, and I've just put a little bit of bread there, but the other thing goes really nice is a bit of rice. So nice little dish, not too difficult to do, really tasty.